I think most Americans ignore the ominous warning that President Joe Biden said in his farewell speech. And I'm just going to read it out loud. And I want to just point out some things that I think most Americans dismiss and didn't even bother to do the research or didn't understand the terms which he was speaking of. I want to warn the country of some things that give me a great concern, and this is the dangerous concern, and that's the dangerous concentration of power in the hands of very few ultra-wealthy people, and the dangerous consequences if their abuse of power is left unchecked. Today, an oligarchy is taking shape in America of extreme wealthy power and influence that literally threatens democracy, our basic right freedoms, and a fair shot for everyone to get ahead. We see the consequences all across America, and we've seen it before, more than a century ago. But the American people stood up to the robber barons back then and busted the trust. They didn't punish the wealthy. They just made them play by the rules that everybody else had to. First and foremost, I just want to explain to people what is oligarchy, because I just learned that word, to be completely honest. By definition, a small group of people having control of a country, organization, or institution. By further research, I found out that there's an actual theory of oligarchy. The iron law of oligarchy states that all forms of organization, regardless of how democratic they may be at the start, will eventually and inevitably develop oligarchic tendencies, thus making true democracy practically and theoretically impossible, especially in large groups and complex organizations. Now, I really want you guys to really pay attention to who are the robber barons that President Joe Biden was referring to. Robber barons were wealthy, powerful, and unethical American industrialists and financiers in the 19th century. The term was used as a social criticism to describe their business practices, in which were often considered ruthless. Who were the robber barons? Cornelius Vanderbilt, John D. Rockefeller, Andrew Carnegie, J.P. Morgan, Henry Clay Frick, and John Jacob Astor. So what did they do to earn that nickname, robber barons, to be put in that group? Well, they monopolized industries through trust, exploited workers, paid little attention to customers or competition, used intimidation, violence, corruption, conspiracies, and fraud, bought and sold politicians, exercised power over commerce. Now, with President Joe Biden giving us this ominous warning, it's just too much of a coincidence that in Trump's inauguration, he actually put together pretty much the wealthy Avengers, because the people that are said to show up that have front row seats to his inauguration is Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, and CEO of TikTok, Zai Chu. I believe that's how you say his name. I keep butchering it. I think it's safe to agree that these are the most powerful and wealthiest people that are going to be showing up. I just think it's crazy coincidence. These people butchered each other. They were constantly having, back and forths, and they're somehow going to be seated next to each other. I think something's going to happen this coming years. Like, there's going to be a change, and with the elites that you have seen that are the robber barons, they may be the modern day robber barons, in my opinion. And it just kind of makes sense. It's just, if you put those guys from the 19th century and you put these guys next to them, they fit in the perfect group. It is absolutely insane. So there's definitely something to come, in my opinion. I'm still stuck that whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, to be completely honest. It may be a good thing, it may be a bad thing. It may be a bad thing simply because if you look at the robber barons from the 19th century, they did a lot of bad stuff to get where they were at. They have absolutely no remorse for anybody. But with that being said, guys, let me know what you guys think about Joe Biden's ominous speech during his farewell. Like the video, comment, be respectful, and as always, follow me.
Get him, Puffy Lion, dog.